Logical psychiatry. On logical psychiatry, I believe I may have put on something that had to do with the Prim Reaper. She obviously didn't take my invitation. Either that or she didn't get it. The basic fact is that I invited her to show that she's not a feminist, to show that she's not part of the Me Too movement, and also to show that she is a true humanitarian. And yes, I know many women would say, "Oh, for a female, right?" No, I don't. I'm not so chauvinistic, and I'm not piggish either. um, I have children, and I'm not going to install that into them. It is logical to say that of logical psychiatry that we do not place judgment on people. It is not logical for nor would Spock himself place judgment. But I can tell you right now, the general modern prognosis of female gender is simply that they obviously do not know how to get rid of their inadequacies within them. And also the fact that of why the male gender currently, which it's becoming to be a large number of them, are going what's known to be MGTOW. And therefore they don't know how to get rid of their indecisiveness even when they are with a male, be that in a relationship or married. Although I can say that I do have a number of friends that I can say that they don't pay attention to that indecisiveness. Yes, I have female friends, but I also have male friends. But the one thing, though, as many of you know, I've said on my MGTOW videos that I know the male and female psyche, and the Prim Reaper may claim to know both as well. But she hasn't shown, as of yet, if she is or is not a feminist, and if she is or is not a Me Too movement member. And she has a video on YouTube that talks about incels when it comes to the male genders movement. Be that, of course, one of them being MGTOW. If there's any other ones, the basic fact is women cannot accept that due to their indecisiveness, due to their inadequacies, and due to their expecting to get gold right when they want to, or get what they want when they want, which is basically illogical. Yeah, it's sweet and endearing when a girl at say 2-3 years of age to start with wants something right away, even though if she pouts and does a temper tantrum. That's adorable and cute and understandable. But they cannot use that as much as they think they can. They cannot use that and carry it along with them through their adulthood and use the same thing, but more of in a way where they, what MGTOW calls, monkey branch over to another guy to try to get what they want. As many of you probably already know, that I had a similar situation in the sense of monkey branching um, many years ago with a person by the name of Jill Yeaman, and who is also now known as Jill Dixon. When she wanted me to do something in the sexual nature with her, of course. And this was when I was in my late 20s, and she was in her mid to early 20s. And I wanted to get to know her first. She couldn't handle that. The basic fact is that she wanted it right then and there. But yet her father told me she has done things, even in a sexual nature, with other people before me. So with that though, that's see, that's the complexity about women, though, is that they want things when they want them, and if they don't get them, they'll monkey branch over to another one, as she did at least about, I'd say about 3 times. Then when she didn't get anything of what she wanted from my old friend Todd Nichols, she monkey branched over to a larger number of them. This is in no way placing judgment on or towards any one gender. It's just a simple example and a definition of when women want the illogical and non-realistic, and as if they gotta have it their way. But like but here's the other part of it though. Whenever a guy wants something, they make him wait and wait and wait and wait. No matter how much he he begs her and all this stuff, they still have him wait and wait and wait. But we guys can't do that to them. That is not very realistic, and it's not very respectful, and it's not very logical. Even Spock himself would say, that is illogical. The basic fact is simply that women need to put aside their indecisiveness, as difficult as it may seem, and try and be to them. If women are to be in relationships, be that of course dating relationships, serious relationships like fiancés, like myself and Jill was many years ago, way before the millennium even started, and I'm talking many years before. And if they are going to be in a marriage aspect with a male, they need to put their indecisiveness aside, their inadequacies aside, and quit expecting a golden goose to happen and to be given to them right when they expect it to be. Because even our Savior knows if you expect the illogical, you will get things that you don't expect later in life. Many people can word it in any way they want, but the basic fact is, of what I said is an actuality. Even if men expect the illogical, it can happen the same way. But there's ways for men to reassess that, because we men don't have inadequacies. Not as heavily and emotionally tied in as women do, though. You didn't know that, did you? The basic fact is simply this. When you have person A, let's say you being a male or a female, and then you have person B, say the person that you know. It could be a male or a female. But this is going strictly by the Bible on this aspect. Because, due to, of course, one side can be a male or female, or the other side can be also a male or female, right? If one side's a male, it has to be a female. If the other side's a male, then the other side has to be a female. Simple. The basic fact is that you need to realize, if you're a woman, you need to realize, in order to get what you know that you deserve, you need to work with the person, not against. If you keep on expecting things when you want them, that means you're working against the person. You don't see men doing that from either direction, right? You may see it in your own way that they are, but they're really not. There are men that do, granted, yes. There are women that do it the most, though. So, generally, I'm not putting the blame towards women or men of either side. Basic fact is that that's the way things have been since of late. And even before the reintroduction of the feminist movement and the Me Too movement, and the reinsertion of the both movements, and even a bit after the MGTOW movement. But here's the thing, though. Now that many men are joining the MGTOW movement, there are many women trying to use the labeling of MGTOW to try to trick men into believing that they are who they are not. MGTOW is not women going your own way. It's men. Unless, if you think you can turn the W of MGTOW and upside down and call it WGTOW when it's basically MGTOW, you are so desperate, women, that it is not funny. And it is not very, very ladylike, and it's not very becoming of you either. What happens if, what would you do, ladies, if if um, you had a movement that men were able to, shall we say, manipulate the lettering? They can do that with the Me Too movement. They can do that with the feminist movement. Wording. If they really use their brains, they can. I know that for a fact. You don't like that, and I know you will have a big fucking hissy fit over it. Excuse me for cursing there, but the basic fact is, it's the truth. You know it, and I know it. So therefore, the women who are trying to use the labeling of MGTOW to try to pull men into watching your video, and to where you can try to get them to believe your version of the MGTOW way when it's not really the MGTOW way, you are not really, truly helping matters. And also, it will make it even longer, if at all. And I'm not going to say it will happen. I'm not going to say it won't happen. But the basic fact is that you ladies are making it harder and making it longer for men to even go towards even the slightest thought of going towards marriage by doing that, by using the MGTOW labeling just for your own selfish and illogical benefit. Even if a male, if a male were to use the MGTOW name, the MGTOW labeling, and then discuss how feminist movements are so glorious and so open-minded and all this other shit, right? When really they're not. Then you know that he would that young man would be shamed. He would be demoralized emotionally as well as psychologically, and it would take him through numbers of sessions of psychiatry to get over it, and that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it will take you women longer to realize that because of your indecisiveness and your inadequacies and your expectations that are so illogical, that have become so illogical, especially the points where you manipulated and treated men like pieces of shit when they're not, and yet you expect them to forgive you after you monkey branch and have sex with another person. Be that if once you get into sexual relations with another male, and you want the guy that you like and you're in a relationship with to forgive you, uh, if you're not truly willing to forgive the guy that you're going with after if he were to, and then there's been a number of situations and in certain relationships that men have, and yet more often than not the woman does not forgive him. She slaps him right in the face and heads out the door, and they're never seen with each other again. And yet, here's the illogical aspect. When the woman does the cheating, she goes right back and expects the guy to forgive her and stay with her. Where's the logic in that? That just gives you women the thought, well, I could still do it again if it once and if he forgives me. And he won't, and I'll be sure to make sure that he doesn't know about it the next time around. But he'll still be with me, and he'll still forgive me. I mean, if you keep on even thinking, well, I'm the best thing that will ever happen to him in his whole entire life. You are so illogical, and so too into yourself, and also arrogant. Arrogant can happen within women too, ladies. It doesn't matter what age you are. You could be in your teens and 20s and still be as arrogant and closed-minded and all this other negative thing that there is. And it is so sinful and illogical, it's not funny at all. What would you do? Would you allow it? Would you welcome them if the guy were to use the feminist movement or Me Too movement tagging on their video to try to pull women towards the men in the sense of say, a secondary MGTOW movement that would invite women, as well as the women's Me Too movement tried to pull in men? Or would you have a hissy fit over it? Or would you have a big issue about it? Don't lie to me and don't lie to yourself equally. You know that you don't want the truth of what women discuss when it comes to men. And thereby you don't want them to know what is really being said, because you don't know also, ladies, that they will easily inform MGTOW. And they already know that you ladies have tried to use the MGTOW labeling to pull men in to hear your version of MGTOW's philosophies and much more. When you know it's a load of shit. Because you can act like you know the MGTOW philosophy and all this other stuff when you really don't, ladies, because you're focused on the feminist attributes. You cannot pretend to know something you do not. That's been said many times in many ways for many reasons. Pardon me. But so the one thing is, ladies, from here on through, you women cannot blame men for going their own way, for separating themselves from your indecisiveness and from you even indirectly, and from you even directly. And hold on one second. So, ladies, you know that the more you ladies try to infiltrate, as it's known in MGTOW, into a male type movement and grouping, it will make things harder on you intellectually, emotionally, psychologically, and deeper from within your entire being. And you'll keep wondering where are the good men? You women, with your indecisiveness and inadequacies and much more, and many of the illogical actions that you've done, even while having a man, and being in a relationship with a man, even if you don't want to believe it and admit it, you know that's one of many reasons why. You can call it's that you can say all you want, it's their fault, when it's really yours. You need to take a percentage, not a small percentage, but an equal percentage of responsibility for your actions in anything you do and get involved in. Even when it comes to relationships, even when it comes to anything, even employment, even when it comes to anything that you've done wrong and said wrong. It doesn't matter what it is. You women, I know, there are many women that think that they, just because they're females, they can get away with practically anything and everything, like they have a door open, metaphorically, to where the law would just look the other way. If that was the case, there wouldn't be so many women in women's prisons, especially when it came to killings, stabbings, murders, and stealings, and many other things. Especially when it came to assault towards men, or men in general. Or even when it came to various negative, illogical, sinful things against children. There's a long list of that too, equally to men. So the whole aspect is the Prim Reaper has not really taken my offer in the sense of the fact that she would be able to show that she's not a feminist, not a Me Too movement member and follower and definer, and she would have easily been able to prove that she is, the Prim Reaper would have been able to prove that she is 100% a humanitarian. If she joined me on my Facebook page of CRPHA, Humanitarian and Citizen Advocate, or even the Disability Advocate. I know, I saw her Facebook page, so basically, I know she has one. She knows that I have one because I know right when I put on the request via the video, I posted it on her YouTube thing. She hasn't taken the actual invitation, thereby if she were to go into any one of my advocate pages and talk with me about it and see if she would still be able to join in with it and to prove. And I know many women think they don't have to prove shit, but yet they try to get every guy to prove a lot of shit. So it stands to reason, ladies, don't if you don't expect and don't want to be expected to prove things to people, including the male gender, you cannot expect the male gender to prove shit to you. It's basically Dutch door action, even, fair. Hell, it's more than fair. You don't want to prove things on anything or on any level for any reason to a man, even while dating, even before dating, if at all, which seems to be more than commonplace. Then you can never, ever, ever no longer expect a man to prove shit to you. Ladies. It also stands to reason to go to the place to where you need to learn to get rid of your inadequacies or put your inadequacies aside and put your indecisiveness aside if you are to have a successful, long-term, elongated, more than yearly long, more than anniversary long relationship and marriage with a man. If there's any men left out there for you, which it's not easy to tell as much as it used to be when I was younger, to see if there was any good women on my side of it. And I know on my female cousin side of it would be, it's not easy to tell if there's any good men on my female cousins side of it. And yes, many of my female cousins have inadequacies, indecisiveness. It's generally instilled within you by nature. But even nature knows this, that you can put that aside and don't allow it to control what you do and do not do. Do not let it control what, and if you're truly happy with the person that you're with, don't let it control you to go behind his back and do the sinful things, such as adultery, or be that, of course, cheating. And what MGTOW calls monkey branch to another person. Because if you do that anyway, you're not being true to yourself, and you're not being true to the person that you're in a relationship with. Therefore, it would be the same aspect if you were in a marriage. It doesn't change. So, what is your thoughts now? Males, what is your thoughts? Do you think anything makes any sense to you? Because I can tell you the male aspect is that yes, we do have inadequacies, but we're able to control them. And I'm not saying women can't. They can, but they choose not to. Same thing with their indecisiveness. And yes, we have indecisiveness, but we're able to control it, as if we don't even have it. As it's been said many, many times, each of us have both male and female, um, you know, things within us. But what overtook the female aspect was the male gene, right? For us men. But what took over the male gene for the women is the feminine gene. So the general fact is that there's a lot of unbalanced emotions in both male and female, but mostly female. Because the reason being is because they're more in tune with their emotions, and that's not a bad thing. What is your thought? Do you think you would be able to control it, ladies, or would you need some help? Because I can help you with that, and I can also help the Prim Reaper. Many people need help with many things that they don't really realize. But the one thing is, the Prim Reaper doesn't realize is that she can proclaim to know men and if the types of problems men have, when really she's only looking at it in the way females have looked at it for centuries, for many years, if not more, if not less than centuries. And she's trying to use a psychological, philosophical aspect to it to better explain it. If you haven't been with a man long enough to even understand him, how can you truly understand men in general? Because women don't want to take the time to understand us men as much as they claim, but they want us to understand them. There's no fairness on that one now, is there? Basically, you can say there's on almost every level there's no fairness. Women can say it's the male's fault, and us men can say it's the female's fault. Those feminists don't know if their ass hit the wall or not. I just added a little bit of that. But generally, in order to really understand a person, you need to really take the time, ladies. Same thing for men. In order to really understand the opposite gender, be that the women for men, you really need to take the time. Don't think you can section it off each time you get to know each other, because you don't know if there's going to be any more interaction even after the first, or even after the second, if that. Same thing goes for the women as well as the men, equally on that aspect as well. So therefore, you can understand it in your own way, because everybody has a different ways of understanding other people, including the opposite gender. It's not always the same. But does the Prim Reaper know that? Do you think the Prim Reaper knows that? I don't think she does. Even though she may think she does, say she does, but she hasn't even proven it. Nor has she even shown it. And I can tell you that there are many things that we can learn from each other if we so choose to, and if we have the patience to. But the one thing is, one side cannot play games, mind games, with the other, and which basically women may think that the mind manipulation and games come from the guy. The men think the same thing about the women, and if that keeps on playing, there's not going to be any equal sides now, is there? And yet the feminist movement, even of today, claims that they're about equality, just as the ERA did. Yeah, but the current feminist movement is about also domination, full control, as if they can bring back the matriarchal society, when basically the matriarchal society will never come back. And the matriarchal society, for those who don't know, again, was a female-dominated society. Once a society falls, it will never return. And seeing that the matriarchal society did fall in its own way, it will never make a comeback. Women and the feminist movement and the Me Too movement need to wake up to realize that. Because the more they envision something that's not really there, they're going to be one more than surprised and dissatisfied group and female following. And many women don't believe that the feminist and Me Too movement are gradually falling apart, because their definitions of the feminist movement and the Me Too movement changes every few weeks to every few months. So basically, that goes to points of indecisiveness for women. Take that into consideration. Think about what I just said. If you want to know more, please comment down below. And if men want to know more and want me to discuss anything, let me know in the comment below. And same thing for the women, and also whoever's new watching on my channel, watching this video, please hit the subscribe button and the bell, and you'll get new notifications of new videos besides this one. Have a good day and live long and prosper.